Hi everyone, I'm Brionak, and this is a guide for learning and mastering air control in distance. I'll cover all the game mechanics related to air control and how to exploit them to navigate through the levels faster. At the end of the guide, I'll also suggest specific levels to train air control. Without further ado, let's get started. To understand air control, we need to understand what our car is able to do in midair. We can either boost in midair or use wings to fly. Let's suppose we need to reach that far ahead building. With boost only, you can't reach it, since you lose height due to gravity dragging you down. With wings though, we could reach that building, since we maintain our height stable. But I want to make you notice that wings have a lower maximum speed compared to the one you reach while boosting in midair. But I also want you to remember that we have thrusters on top of our car. Since midair boosting is faster than Wingfly, we could just turn our car upside down and use thrusters to maintain our height, getting to the building faster. This technique is called gripfly. As you can see, to get to the building, we took around 13 seconds with wings open, compared to 12 seconds with gripfly. It's quite the difference for just a short travel like this one. This technique is applied to almost every track that has thrusters active, and it's one of the most important time savers in this game. Gripfly is also used during zero gravity sections though. In this case, we just incline our car by 30 degrees upwards to combine boost or thrusters vectors, resulting in a faster linear speed. Let's get a bit deeper into thrusters analysis. I want to point out that thrusters always emit a blue flame when the car is attached to the ground. When we are in midair though, the flame remains blue for a couple of seconds, and then turns orange. When the flame is blue, thrusters are more powerful compared to when it's orange, meaning that we could gain more height during those 2 seconds. This happens because jet downforce strength gradually decays from 100% down to 40%, as they are used when in midair with no wheels contacting on a surface. It takes at least 2 seconds to reach 40% of downforce strength from 100%. If at least one wheel contacts a surface, the strength is immediately reset back to 100%. The downforce strength decay already starts when we activate even one thruster after your car leaves the ground, meaning that we could use the blue flame for less time to gain height. But we could still overcome this with wings by using a technique which I call Wingflip. If we jump, immediately activate wings and perform half a wing roll, then deactivate wings and use thrusters, we could exploit the blue flame for the whole 2 seconds. This technique though is mostly used for sections where we need to gain a lot of height. For other kind of sections, it's not a guaranteed time gain, so it needs a bit of experimentation. Since wings are useful for gaining height, let's talk about wing pumping. This technique is basically activating wings for a short period of time to gain height during midair sections. It's rarely used though, since getting from point A to point B with gripfly only is usually faster, but on specific sections where we couldn't make it to point B, activating wings to gain just a bit of height to get there is significantly faster. Wings are also used for maintaining your speed momentum during a landing. If you're landing on a surface perpendicular to gravity force, activate wings just a bit before landing and steer upwards to align your car better with the road. This won't give you an advantage on inclined surfaces, since fast falling and gaining height with thrusters give you more speed and keeps your momentum better compared to wings that have a lower fixed speed. But for surfaces perpendicular to gravity force, this helps keeping your speed momentum and thus gaining a bit of time overall. Speaking of surfaces, I need to mention that they have a hidden magnetic effect. While in midair, if the wheels of your car get close enough to a surface, the car will be slightly pulled towards it. This works with every surface, even the smallest ones, and is most noticeable when trying to land on a ceiling without the use of your wings. A way to take advantage of this mechanic during grip flight is to get close to a surface for a brief time, pulling you upwards and allowing for additional maneuvers. It's a minor time saver, but it could make the difference when you're trying to push your limits on a track. Last mechanic worth mentioning is Wheelieboost. It's defined as jumping with a specific purpose to tip back and grip down on the same platform you jumped off from. This couldn't make sense at first, but combining thrusters and boost vectors will result in a faster linear speed while still in midair until your back wheels touch the ground. It works on neutral straights and even better on downhills, since there is also the gravity factor that comes into play, but Wheelieboost is frowned upon by the community, since it's not a really hard technique to pull off, thus a cheap way to save time. Due to this reason, the distance community put a filter for runs that exploit this technique in the speedrun.com page. Tilting back and gripping when you're already in midair from a jump obstacle or a gap in between roads is not considered Wheelieboost though, since those kind of situations require thruster control in a way or another, so learning this technique is still useful to master air control. To have a complete overview of air control, let's look at control scheme differences. Currently, the standard control scheme available in this game is a single stick scheme, meaning that you perform all the movements with just the left stick of your controller. That's quite limiting though, because when you activate wings, you can't steer and roll at the same time. You can still roll if you hold the grip button, but that will lock your movements in your X-axis. To solve this issue, you can bind wing rolling to the right stick, allowing steering and rolling at the same time. You could also bind thrusters to your right stick if you like to steer and use thrusters with different sticks. This allows for more precise movements and a smoother racing line overall, so using a double stick control scheme is recommended. Everything I explained before isn't achieved first try. It requires a lot of practice to build muscle memory for those kind of techniques. To help you with that, there are various tracks I would like to recommend you. The first set of tracks is no wings boost only. These tracks are the best way to practice gripfly and thruster control in general, and they vary from simple tracks for learning the basics to harder tracks with more complex layouts. Personally, I recommend you to play electromite tracks first, since they are simpler and will help you understand thruster control better. No wings boost only tracks by Tiedye are really complex maps, and I recommend you to try them only while you got a grasp of the tracks I mentioned before those. But for that purpose, No Wings Boost only Course 4 has a convenient practice room where you could practice various aspects of thrusters control that could come handy for completing those. Like basic grip flight, basic transfers, advanced transfers, and advanced grip flight. The next set of tracks I recommend is Wings and Boost skill. It's a set of 2 tracks focused on mastering wing skills, required to complete the level. Course 1 is not really hard, but focuses on situations where you need to use wings in a smart way to navigate through the Killgrid tunnels. Course 2 focuses on exploiting force zones contained in cannons with wings to reach precise points in the level, and requires a bit more precision compared to Course 1. Practicing those levels will surely help you honing your wing skills, so playing them a lot is recommended. There is also an entire playlist of air control-alike tracks created by California that goes from the simplest to the hardest tracks available, with both tutorial and challenge tracks, and thus containing no wings boost only and wings on boost kill tracks. As a last advice I would like to give you, I'd seriously recommend you to apply your practice with all the official sprints levels. Each level has difficult skips that could help you understanding better a certain mechanic, with levels getting harder proceeding from a level set to another. The Legacy level pack is probably the best one to practice parkouring and air control in this game, but my suggestion is to complete one level set at a time, starting from Ignition. With that being said, this concludes my air control guide for Descents. I would like to thank Seeker and California for helping me finish this video with content and suggestions. I'll leave the practice courses workshop links in the video description. Thanks for watching.